Hello, guys and gals, and welcome. So today I want to talk about something that's come up a couple times, and I've had a lot of people on YouTube make comments about, like feeling overwhelmed or like not understanding like how deep the game was, and I kind of want to go over that with some people. So Diablo 2 is a very amazing game. And on the surface, when you first start to play, it is a very simple game. But the problem with Diablo 2 has always been that the deeper you delve into Diablo 2, the more you realize that you are just scratching the literal surface of what the game is capable of and what you are capable of in the game. And I think there always comes a point for a lot of players when they realize that you know I don't know anything about this game. Like this game is so ridiculous in the skills, knowing what the skills do, knowing what weapons to use, knowing how to attribute my points, and it seems rather unforgiving in many ways that when you try to go out and level up your character, you feel like you're doing things wrong, or you're never going to have the elite and amazing equipment that your friend has, who's he's a level 95 sorceress, and he's running chains of honor, and he's got freaking hotos and CTAs, and he comes into the game and he looks like a literal like Greek god, teleporting around and spamming out shouts and all this other stuff. And here you are, you're this level 1 barbarian, and you have absolutely no clue what it is that you're getting into. And eventually you do figure it out. What I want to go over with you guys about this is that you do not get to the end of the road by just teleporting there. If you're interested in playing this game, you're going to have to take the journey. And the journey is learning. The journey is dying. The journey is messing up things. The journey is going through the process of trying to figure out how your skills work. And there's no need to be embarrassed or let anyone make you feel like crap because you don't know how things work. This game is incredibly deep. And I want you to hear me on this. I've been playing this game for nearly 21 years, and every single day I learned something new about this game that I did not know prior. And if you can be playing a game for 21 years and literally still learn something new every day, how deep do you think this game really goes? Now, the interesting thing about this game, though, is that you don't need to know everything to beat the game. You don't need to have the most optimal gear. You do not need to have a last wish rune word to be able to kill an Uber Diablo or an Uber Bale. That is not how this game works. You can build the most budget characters that ever existed. You can put on the crappiest gear that you find along the way, and you can still make it work. And that is the beauty of this game. The beauty of this game is that you apply your mind to the task of trying to beat the game. And as you apply your mind to the task, you will come up with ways, you will learn, you will test things out, you will respec your character 4 or 5 times. You will apply your knowledge to the task, and as you apply your knowledge to the task, you will grow, and you will become more effective at the game. And the interesting thing is that you don't need all these amazing items to get your character to the end. There are entire videos and builds that are basically based around budget characters, like literally using equipment that you can buy from from the shops. You can literally go to the shops and you can buy equipment which will get you through hell difficulty. You can find specific pieces of equipment that are very common that will help you get through hell difficulty. And granted, there are items out there that are so ridiculously expensive and so ridiculously hard to get that you will have to farm and strive for them. But what's the point of a game without those things that you're going to strive for? You can do it without them. You don't need a last wish to be able to kill Hell Bale. But having a last wish, but striving for that thing and eventually getting it is going to give you a little bit of satisfaction because you worked toward that goal. However, the important thing here is that you're having fun. Okay, you have fun on the way up the trail. Remember the words. I think this was from a movie actually. Is that it's not about the destination; it's about the journey. Have fun on the way to your destination. Figure out how your character works. Put your skill points in wrong. Do things that a noob would do. And along the way, as you start to learn and become more knowledgeable about the game, perhaps through watching my videos or figuring it out on your own, you will eventually get to the point where you know what you're doing, and you'll be able to help other people up the staircase of Diablo as well. And now keep in mind that normal difficulty is kind of like the playtesting zone. So normal difficulty is very easy, and beating normal difficulty is the first step along the way. All right. So don't get too put down about about Diablo if you get to hell and things are difficult, because basically how it works is normal difficulty is your starter zone. That's where you test out your character, you play around with things, you figure out what skills you want to use, and eventually you come to a conclusion. Nightmare difficulty is where you start to refine your build, where things start to get more difficult, but they're not so difficult that things will become insanely hard. And in Nightmare difficulty, this is when you really start to refine things. And then in Hell difficulty is where you are tested. If I had to use an analogy, normal difficulty is like middle school. Nightmare difficulty is like high school and college. Okay, and then Hell difficulty is the real world. Okay, and this is where your character, your abilities, your knowledge are actually going to be tested to see if you actually know what you're talking about, if you actually learned anything in high school and in college and middle school. Did you actually pay attention to what was going on, or did you just click a whole bunch of times and hope things worked out? And the reason why I'm making this video is because we have a lot of people, or I have a lot of people who contact me, and sometimes they talk about how discouraged they are by by just simply the massiveness of the game, or by the fact that no matter how much they farm, they can't get that elusive, rare, amazing item that they would like to get. And the only thing I've got to tell you about the items in this game is that a lot of the items are meant to be rare. I've always felt like this when it comes to Diablo 2 and many games, is that the rarity of an item is what makes it special. I can go into single player and I can cheat every single one of these items in, and I can give them to myself, and I can run around and play with them if that's what I want to do. But when I'm on online Battle.net, and cheating is not an option, I wouldn't cheat on online Battle.net anyway. But when I'm on online Battle.net, I can't just magically put these items in my inventory. And when someone is walking around with for instance, like a Last Wish or an Enigma, or they're walking around with a Grief or a Breath of the Dying, you know that they put in a lot of work to grab those items, or at least somebody did. That leads back to the purchasing of items, which is not something I recommend. I feel like when you start to involve money in a video game, you are creating a situation where the video game is going to become less fun. I personally like to keep it as a game and to have fun in the game, and for that reason you'll probably never see me purchase anything off of anything like JSP or any other auction websites. I just don't see the purpose. And you'll probably see me never sell anything on those websites either, because I just don't see the purpose. I'm in this game to have fun. I have a 40-hour-a-week job, just like most of you, and maybe one day I won't. Maybe this will become my 40-hour-a-week job. But for right now, I have a 40-hour-a-week job that when I come home, I would like to relax, and I would like to have fun. And I don't like to incorporate, the real life world side of things, the money side of things, the Benjamins into Diablo 2. And so I just simply use what I've got. I've always used what I've got, and thankfully, as time has gone on, I've made a lot of friends. I've helped out a lot of people, and they in turn have helped me out. And this is the beauty of Diablo 2, is that as you grow with a group, if you find yourself a good group, you will be able to share items back and forth with each other, and really trust each other. Now, Diablo 2 is an amazing game in that regard, but also keep in mind that there are some pure, unadulterated evil people out there who would steal everything that you've got and sell it on JSP and laugh about it. So, so pick your friends wisely, I guess is what I'm saying. And let me segue this into another comment, is that if you're having trouble, if you need advice, if you are looking for a group to hang out with, consider mine. I have a kinship. It is called GGM. That's just literally what's called, is GGM kinship, and people who join the kinship are essentially part of our brotherhood. We do have a charter. It is on the Discord, and if you are interested in joining, I always have the Discord link down in the description, and you're more than welcome to hop in, ask questions. You don't have to join the kinship to be in my Discord. You can just be in the kinship and you can hang out. You can be in the Discord and hang out. But if you do decide to join the kinship, there are obvious benefits to being in the kinship, which is, a camaraderie, a brotherhood of people who will help you out. Whether it be leveling up a low-level character, whether it be, looking for that elusive piece of equipment, whatever it is that you're specifically trying to look for, or achieve, there's a very good chance you're going to be able to do it in a group over by yourself. And if you play single player, even if you never get online, even if you never do anything other than single player, you can still hop in and you can talk with everybody. We have a lot of very knowledgeable people, even besides myself. We've got Onyx, we've got Jack, we've got Complexic, we've got. I can't even name all the people. There's so many people in Discord that know what they're talking about, and Deegs is a recent one who's come in, and he obviously knows what he's talking about. We've got a whole bunch of older people who have been here for a while, like Old Man Stalker, and like I said, Complexic, Onyx. We've got Jack. We've got, good Lord, there's so many different people. Leon he's kind of a quiet one, but he knows what he's talking about. And if you catch him every now and then, you can get quite a good squeeze quite a good amount of information out of him. We also have quite a few people that just simply give away items. They've got so much stuff laying around that they literally will just give stuff away. And I understand some people would rather not get freebies. So if you're building a character that's solo self-found, that you want to do it yourself, you don't want anyone to hand you anything, that's up to you. And you're more than welcome to build your solo self-found character with us. Just make sure to let everyone know, hey, I'm building solo self-found. I don't want to take anything from anybody unless I'm the one who finds this item. I'm not going to use it. And if you guys have never done solo self-found, consider it, because it is a very fun adventure. Solo self-found is different completely than an online playthrough. Online playthrough is the process by which you function in a group, you trade, you go to somebody and you go, hey, I could really use a head striker, and they're like, oh, I got one sitting in my stash, and they drop it on the ground for you. Solo self-found characters do not accept anything from anybody unless they literally saw it fall on the ground. And the reason why this is so interesting and so fun is that instead of just simply using the most overpowered broken items that ever existed from all of your mules, you create a character that is unique, because you have to do with what you find. It's almost like being a survivalist in the woods, and what you're doing is you're like if the only food around is maggots, I guess you're eating maggots. If the only food around is bunny rabbits, I guess you're eating bunny rabbits. The poor bunny rabbits. But you make do with what you've got. And so as you level up your solo self-found character, you will realize that what your character is almost guided by the items that you find. Like if you happen to be a barbarian who was a solo self-found and you found an Ariat's face, you'd be ecstatic. But maybe you want an Ariat's face, but you never find one. In that case, you would have to make do with something else that you find, and solo self-found is just very beautiful in that regard. Anyway, I've prattled on for 15 minutes already, and I wanna cut it short here. So let me wrap this up with my final thoughts. Don't get discouraged with Diablo 2. Don't look at all the other items that everybody has and think, oh, I really wish I had those. Those are so amazing, and I'm never gonna be able to get one. Don't put that kind of mindset into your Diablo 2 gameplay. Play Diablo 2 for fun. Play Diablo 2 with friends. Play Diablo 2, for the challenge, for the journey, up the ladder. You don't have to look up builds on the internet to be a meta character. A lot of other YouTubers will tell you that you have to play meta to be competitive, and I'm going to tell you the exact opposite. And it's this: you can play the game however you want to play it. And as long as you are having fun while you're playing the game, more power to you. Meta is the process by which you're trying to compete with other players for top of the tier. And if you're PvPing, I would definitely say go with meta builds, because PvP is a competition. But this game, Diablo 2, is not a competition. Diablo 2 is just simply a game that you play for fun. Now, if you join ladder difficulty is an entirely different thing. Ladder is a competition, and ladder is a competition between you and everyone else to hit level 99 as quickly as possible. And if you are doing ladder or PvP, then yes, it is definitely a competition in those two situations. But if you're playing single player, or if you're playing regular Diablo 2, or if you are playing with friends, or if you're playing solo self-found, there's no reason to be so caught up in what items I've got, or what items I didn't get, or what items I'm never going to have, because you don't know what items you're going to have. I have been playing for a really long time, and I can tell you that each individual playthrough that I've done has been different. Sometimes I find the most godlike items along the way up, and I'm so excited and enthralled to find these items because I know that they're not common. And then there are other times where I literally am dealing with I'm playing a character with a chipped bow with lightning effects in it, and I've got a mercenary who's using like the crappiest gear imaginable because I'm just not finding anything, but I'm still making it work. And that's the beauty of Diablo, is that if you apply your mind to the task, you can do almost anything in this game. You can literally take a sorceress and make her use a bow. You can literally make a paladin who uses a two-handed weapon. You can take an assassin and you can turn her into a character that only kicks. You can take a paladin who's meant to be a melee character and you can turn him into a caster type. There are literally hundreds of thousands of ways that you can build all of your characters, and don't let anybody ever tell you that that there's only a couple ways to build your characters, because it's a lie. You can clear all content in the game with hundreds of different builds on the 7 characters, and people will try and tell you that only these specific builds are any good, and they're lying to you. The fact of the matter is those are the most efficient, the most ridiculous, the most OP builds in the game, but they are not the only builds in the game that can clear content, and they are not the only builds in the game that can do everything. And the fact of the matter is that that whole meta community is very toxic in general, because if I build a character that's not part of the meta, I'm immediately ostracized, essentially, because I have not chosen one of the optimal, like trifecta builds. Anyway, as always, I hope you enjoy these videos, and I know I ranted on for quite some time, but thanks for watching, and keep watching.